Hello and welcome to the Smart Chiropractor Show. I am your host, Dr. Jeff Langmaid, here with my co-host, Dr. Jason Deitch. We have an awesome show lined up for you today. Fantastic featured guest, awesome clinical conversations, business principles, marketing, mindset, all mixed in. We're having fun producing the show. We hope that you are getting a lot out of consuming the show. And if you would like to not miss a segment, which we would highly recommend, if you're watching on mobile, enable those notifications. If you're checking this out on YouTube, please subscribe to the Smart Chiropractor channel. That makes sure you do not miss a thing. Jason, awesome show lined up. How are you doing today?
It's Tuesday. It's time for the Smart Chiropractor Show. I am doing great. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited for all of you to be here. Hopefully, you're getting a lot of value out of these shows each and every week. And if you are, hopefully you're sharing them with other people who should be getting in on the conversation. Today, we got a great conversation to be had yet again. Hopefully you'll join us. Stick around. I'm great. I'm happy to be here.
I love it. Before we dive in, I want to let everybody watching early on right now know if you want to check out a specific segment. We have playlists on our YouTube channel, which we'd recommend you do for your practice. But if you are geeking out on mindset, clinical, business, whatever it might be, we break up these shows, have all the segments aligned in specific playlists on YouTube so you can catch up, stay tuned, stay informed. Also, if you head over and you're not yet on the Smart Chiropractor email list, head over to smartchiropractor.com. You'll be able to figure it out from there. And that enables you to get our shows delivered. We showcase what we're talking about each and every week there as well. So lots of places to connect. Of course, you can always comment down below, or you can always shoot us an email, Jeff or Jason at thesmartchiropractor.com. Technically, that's Jeff at thesmartchiropractor. Space or Jason, not Jeff or Jason at the Smart Chiropractor, but I think everybody out there gets it. Let's kick in to our Mindset Mentor segment on today's Smart Chiropractor Show. Mindset Mentor on today's Smart Chiropractor Show. This is a powerful and inspiring topic that came up in a recent conversation Jason and I had with a doc. The question is, what would you do if you couldn't earn an income adjusting people? Big question. Maybe a simpler answer than many people would think. Jason, what's your take on it?
You know, we interviewed someone yesterday. We'll leave it anonymous for now. You'll enjoy the interview at a future time. But that's really the question that came up for me. She was explaining how, she was in practice, doing just fine, just like all of you probably are. And she ended up having a shoulder injury. And the shoulder injury obviously meant she couldn't practice the way she was used to. She had to get basically medical care for it. It was very severe and very bad. Then there's rehab. And then there's making sure you don't re-injure yourself later on in the future. And it just got me asking the question, as it got her asking the question, oh man, what am I going to do? I'm a chiropractor. I use my hands to adjust people. That's how I make a living. But wait, nobody ever told us, or even told us we had to think about, what do we do if something happens where we can't make it to the office? What happens if there's a pandemic and your office is closed? What happens if you get injured? You want to travel for extensive periods of times. Life happens, and whether it's divorce or the desire to move or whatever comes up, it is absolutely not only normal, but common that people will open a practice, put in a lot of time, put in a lot of effort, and for whatever reasons, out of choice or chance, whatever you want to call it, something happens that prevents you from being able to adjust people in exchange for money. And that's the question for chiropractors. What do you do? Maybe that starts by asking the question, what are your options? Now, I know some of you might go, I'm good. I got a disability policy. If something happens and I'm disabled, then I'm insured for that. But that's a very small percentage. First of all, from what I understand, it's very difficult for chiropractors to get disability insurance these days. Second of all, that disability doesn't address all the other choice issues. Hey, you know what? I don't like living here much anymore. The winters are too rough. The summers are too hot. My family or a new person I met lives somewhere else. Whatever it may be, change is part of life. And the thing I'm asking all of you is, what are you doing to protect yourself? And we tend to think of things in terms of insurance. What do I have in place in the event that something bad happens, then I have something to hopefully cover me in the event of some sort of bad event. That doesn't cover, I want to move. I want to travel for extended periods of time. I want to do something different. I've been adjusting for X amount of years. I was in it for almost 10 years. And sometimes you go, well, what else is there? I want to evolve into something else. That doesn't mean you don't love chiropractic. It doesn't mean you don't love being a chiropractor. It means that we all have desires and needs for growth, for evolution. Sometimes that means having other people adjust in your practice and you evolving into the executive. The point is there's no one size fits all plan, and life happens. And the reason we bring this question and therefore topic up is because Jeff and I are launching a brand new book called The Payday Practice. You've heard us tease it for a while. We will continue to talk about it, likely each and every week. It's very much the undercurrent or the foundation of the conversation that we're trying to bring to the profession, that we are bringing to the profession. And that's the question that we're asking right here, right now. Whether it's due to an unfortunate event or out of choice, the question really is, how safe are you? How proud of you? How smart is it for your life, maybe even your family's entire revenue, to be 100% completely dependent on your ability to go to a physical place, provide physical services in transactional relationship exchange with patients on a regular basis? And what I can tell you is that in today's day and age, with all of the opportunities that are out there to generate revenue, to teach people, to connect with people, to build what we call a health tribe, with all of those options out there, times have changed and our mindset needs to be adjusted for these new modern technology-driven times. And what we're saying very simply is this: that whether you do it because you know it's a good idea for your future, when I say do it, I mean install some sort of system to generate revenue from something different than just your physical hands. We're not saying don't use your physical hands. We're not saying stop. We're saying just in case. So whether you do it proactively because you go, you know what, this makes sense to me. There will be a day when I want to retire, when I want to move, when something happens that I am going to want and need to generate revenue from something else than just using my hands adjusting, or an instrument adjusting if you do that. Whether you do it proactively because you think it's a good idea, whether you do it reactively, hey, you know what, I better play it safe. I better make sure I protect myself, my family's income. I better do something in order to make sure that I've got recurring revenue coming in. Now, why recurring revenue? Because you've got recurring expenses of money that needs to go out. That's why recurring revenue to meet your recurring expenses is the way to go, and it is the mindset of today. And what you'll learn in our Payday Practice book coming out soon, and training that will follow up for those of you that go, wait a minute, this is a really smart idea, you smart chiropractors. Not only do I want to understand it, but I want to do it. I want you to guide me through the process. How do I choose what type of program? How do I think about it? What are the pros and cons? What are other people doing that's working? How do I customize a membership or subscription program for me, my unique values, my unique desires, my unique practice style? And there is a process to do that we'll be introducing. But for today, what we're asking the question is, ask yourself, what would you do if for some reason you couldn't practice with your hands? You couldn't adjust. In fact, I won't mention any names, but I was on social media even just last week, and I saw a post go out by people I'm connected with that a chiropractor lost his fingers because of a boating accident, getting caught in the propeller. How about that for a career changer? So we're not trying to bring in any scare tactics. We're talking about reality here, that maybe we have to pay attention, not to how do we have insurance in case we get disabled, but how we have assurance that we're going to have revenue regardless of the changes that are inevitable. to come into our life. That's what the Payday Practice foundational concepts are all about. There are 3 ways that you can consider generating monthly recurring revenue without going into other fields. We're not talking about going into real estate. We're not talking about becoming a property manager and a real estate investor or crypto or any of the other things that have done really well and tanked recently that also may not be the most secure way to finance your future. The way you want to finance your future is to use your skills, use your passion to teach, your compassion for people, your ability to share with people your unique specialized knowledge and your desire to help them live their best life. And if that sounds like you, in addition to using your hands, why not come up with a membership or subscription program customized for you that works best for your practice and your health tribe? Again, your health tribe is the people you can connect with through social media, through your email list. You can click a button and communicate, oftentimes, almost always for free. Everything we're talking about does not require advertising. You may want to choose to do it at some point, but these are organic, natural ways for you to teach and invite consistently, provide value to people who want to learn from you on a consistent basis. Your 3 options, we'll dig them down deeper in the book. We're not going to go too far here, but this is a way to say, pay attention, wake up. Your future, your family's future depends on this conversation. This is not just one of those, yeah, it would be nice. This is one of those, you'll be glad you did type of choices. If you're not glad, your family will be glad that you took the time to invest your attention on learning how to build an alternative source of monthly recurring revenue that covers your monthly recurring expenses. Whether you want to have a proactive membership and continue to provide your physical services that generates your recurring revenue, it still keeps you dependent on being physical, connection to connection in a physical place. Number 2, and this is where it gets exciting, what this woman did that we'll share with you in a future interview was she said, you know what, I'm an expert in women and pregnancy and how to avoid the common traps, common problems that almost every pregnant woman goes through. Why don't I create a program that women will purchase and even subscribe to in order to have continued access to learn from her? That's what she did, and it's working really well. Of course, your last option is to do what we're suggesting, which is in addition to a proactive membership for your services, in addition to sharing your knowledge in some sort of membership or exclusive access type subscription program, is to offer people the products that are subscribe and save type products. Typically, those are what we think of as everybody, everyday nutritional supplements. They're probably already buying anyway, that they should simply be buying from you, and build a base of clients who subscribe to products they're going to take on an ongoing, continuous basis that they should be paying you for. That is the way to be smart in today's day and age. That's the way you build a second source of revenue that is based on monthly recurring revenue, so that in the event that you cannot, for whatever reason, generate revenue by adjusting people, you have an alternative source of revenue that may eventually be your primary source of revenue should at some point you decide that for whatever reason you can't adjust. Jeff, this is a topic you have faced after retiring from practice. I have faced after wanting to retire from practice. There are many chiropractors that are stuck in practice. That doesn't mean that they don't love being a chiropractor. It just means there are other life extending circumstances that they want to or need to be able to do something different. And sometimes they are trapped to a physical place at a physical time to just earn that transactional revenue. It is not the way to look at this in the future. What are your thoughts, Jeff?
I couldn't agree more with everything you said. The biggest thing is being able to diversify that revenue stream. Super, super important. And also, as you mentioned, keeping an eye out for payday practice. I think my big passion right now is, if this is not for you, that's cool. I'm not trying to convince anybody, but the docs that get it, most younger docs and many experienced docs as well, that totally get this, stay tuned, follow along, start thinking about it. So critically important, because This is really the way that you can improve your chiropractic practice and business. If you are 100% reliant on a fee-for-service model, then you are vulnerable. It's just the way it is. There's outside forces that can impact your practice. There's, of course, the physicality. Being a chiropractor is a physical job, and getting out there day after day, adjusting dozens of people per day, multiple days per week, that stuff adds up and injuries happen. So that shouldn't mean that your practice automatically is a direct result of whatever happens with you. That's called vulnerability. So being able to build in some revenue where you're still helping the people live a higher quality of life, but you're able to use your expertise, your degree, the know, trust, and like factor that you've built to showcase services and products that you believe in is, I almost say it and I'm like, it's almost foolish. It's so obvious, but for many chiropractors, they haven't taken that step because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what my goals should be. That's exactly what we're trying to break down each and every week on this show. And also what we're going to outline in supreme detail in the Payday Practice. We're going to have a free ebook launch of that in the coming weeks. I hear days at this point, but I don't overpromise and underdeliver here. But days away, we should be releasing the Payday Practice, which really gets it out there. And we invite questions as well, because we know that there is a lot of question. What do I do? How do I do this? Again, we're hoping that these segments help answer some of those questions, or at the bare minimum, stimulate the thought for something new you can bring into your practice that is a benefit for all involved. Because the truth of the matter is, we've all been there. Not everything that you bring in, add, diversify in your practice is a win for everybody. And as a business owner, you got to make those decisions. But we believe diversifying your revenue streams, creating monthly recurring revenue, this is the beauty. I don't care how you practice. This is relevant to you because it's about choosing what you are passionate about, what is relevant to your ideal patients that are coming in, and then simply having a simple system to offer that with a teach and advice strategy behind it. So Jason, a lot of details there, a lot of details to come. Great topic. Thank you for leading off with this on Mindset Mentor on today's Smart Chiropractor show. And again, if you have been watching the Mindset Mentor, but maybe you missed a segment or two, head over to our YouTube channel, click on that playlist, Mindset Mentor. You can check out all the previous segments. On today's show, we'll keep things moving along, and we're going to head over to our clinical conversations on today's Smart Chiropractor show. Clinical Conversations on today's Smart Chiropractor show. Clinical Conversations is our segment each and every week where we highlight the clinical aspects of practice, and we have been showcasing many of the fantastic talks that we had during Axis 2021, which was our online clinical event. Axis 2022 is going to be coming your way later this year, so stay tuned for details. 2021, stacked lineup, awesome information. That's why we've continued to highlight the docs that took time out of their day to share their expertise. Nothing better, in my opinion. And today we're going to revisit Dr. Tera Giroux as she discusses Fight Week Rehab at the UFC Performance Institute. Dr. Tera is one of the top chiros within the UFC Performance Institute. We know a lot of docs out there, a lot of young chiropractors and experienced chiropractors love sports chiropractic, and there is no question that the UFC has grown by leaps and bounds. Multi-billion-dollar corporation, from illegal to multi-billion-dollar corporation over the course of 20 years. So the growth of that sport has been tremendous. Tera is, again, one of the fantastic chiros and one of the top chiros on the team over there at UFC. So if you've been interested in Fight Week Rehab, let's take a look. We're going to look at a clip from Tera Giroux breaking it all down during Axis 2021.
So what we want to do is to get her through this fight camp. Our interventions, we're going to really focus heavy on stabilization exercises, specifically through the shoulder, the scapula, on the cervical spine. Basically, we're at this point, we're managing her symptoms. We're noticing we're basically just maintaining, and that's about as good as we're going to get. The athlete's aware of this. We sit down and we kind of always We check in with them every single day, every single week on the progressions, how they're feeling about it, how we're feeling about it. So again, relying on soft tissue techniques such as massage, ART, Grassin, fascial manipulation, dry needling, cupping, using modalities like shockwave, lasers, things that we like that we have in the clinic. So again, just kind of her response to treatment would be ultimately she would feel better after treatment. It would reduce or kind of maintain her symptoms on a lower level, but would flare up again kind of during training when she would have hard trainings at the end of the day. Again, athlete understood this as her care, and she understood that she would likely is going to need to seek surgical opinions after this fight. So fight camp rehab kind of in an interdisciplinary collaboration. So you guys kind of know obviously what we've been doing, but S&C wise, a lot of these athletes are doing 3 to 5 times a week with strength and conditioning. And depending on what their initial diagnostics or goals say, that's what their program is going to be kind of tailored around. So for her in specific, we want to improve cardiovascular function. We're working on kind of time and load management. We're focusing on, the right amount of reps and sets and like having that come into play with her MMA training schedule and loads. So due to her diagnostic testing and what the S&C team decided after they analyzed the results is they designed a program to improve her maximum strength. So that was one of her weakness on kind of her test, is just to overall strength within the weight class. Something that I hadn't mentioned yet, but I want to, is that she's recently moved up a weight class. So she used to fight at 115. So she's now fighting at 125. So one of the goals is more of a hypertrophy program for her to improve her strength, to help to kind of support herself in this new weight class with bigger girls. So sports science wise, we use a wearable device called the Oura Ring, which is really similar to like the Whoop watch or the Omega Wave. So it's going to monitor her recovery. It's going to monitor her sleep. It's going to monitor her fitness, her training. It's going to give her good HRV reads and really just tell us what her readiness for the day is. Nutrition-wise, we had a consult with her in order to support her needs through the fight camp, but also recovering through this injury. So she's taking her normal daily supplements. Her diagnostics, she has a history of anemia, so she's on iron. Her hypertrophy wise, since we're kind of trying to bulk up to recently move up to this new weight class, we're going to put her on a caloric surplus as well as add in creatine. And then a little bit more for the soft tissue repair and injury that we're dealing with. We put her on collagen as well as some inflammation control such as turmeric, omegas, and magnesium. Now we also pulled in sports psychology for this because it's really important when you have an athlete that has to modify their activity so much, or they're dealing with pain and they can't train like how they want to. That's going to increase anxiety throughout that fight camp, especially when you're not sleeping and recovering well either. That just tends to kind of increase anxiety around everything, that you really can't feel rested and recovered. Now, the fight week, her original fight date was supposed to be in October of 2020. However, a week and a half before her fight, she tested positive for COVID-19. So unfortunately, we had to push the fight back. We rescheduled the fight for the end of November of 2020. So we pushed it back about a month. The result was that she did lose by decision. And so what I want to talk about kind of next is our transition into what our COVID return to play protocol actually looks like. I think it was a cool thing to be able to add into this so you guys can kind of see how we handled the situation of her testing positive for COVID in the middle of this fight camp and fight week. So here are some implications. So this is from the British Journal of Sports Medicine. As you can see, there's different stages of return to sport, and we're monitoring a bunch of different things, right? We're monitoring subjective symptoms. We're monitoring resting heart rate, SpO2, RPE. We're looking at objective measurements. So, are they recovering? What's their cardiorespiratory system like? What's their heart rate like? What's their increasing their load look like? And we have to also go by stages of duration. So the first stage is going to be that 10-day kind of minimum quarantine for these guys, right? So they're resting, maybe they're walking if they feel good enough, they're just doing their normal ADLs, and they're just allowing their body to recover. As we advance into kind of stage 2, they're allowed to do some lighter activity. So maybe walking, some light jogging, some stationary bike, but no resistance training. And we really want to keep their heart rate to under 70% at this time for no longer than 15 minutes. So we're just looking at, are their symptoms increasing? That's just basically the overall goal or the overall idea of when we should advance them to the next stage. So do their symptoms, are they good? Do they not increase? Either at the point of that exercise or within the 24 hours after that. If the symptoms don't exacerbate, we can move on to stage 3 and so on. So here's the American College of Cardiology's return to play protocol. As you can see, they kind of got this like nice little flow chart. It's pretty similar. So again, if they're COVID positive, depending on if they're asymptomatic, they have mild symptoms and they're not hospitalized, or they have significant symptoms and they're hospitalized. Again, if you're symptomatic, you're resting until then, and then after 2 weeks without symptoms, you can slowly start to resume activity. Again, you're just monitoring for any type of deterioration or exacerbation of symptoms. Now, some other professional sports that we had found kind of on their return to play, we've again been able to pull a few things, which is awesome. So again, just basic COVID positive athlete, 10 days rest from positive result. If they're asymptomatic, on day 11, they do a full cardiac exam, full labs, focusing on troponin levels. And if those levels are normal, they can kind of return to the team and work up to their capacity. If they're symptomatic, you're going to have your rest in isolation for 10 days after that positive test, and then another 2 days post-symptom resolution. So kind of general consensus on these were that they were kind of just doing this kind of 4-day return to play protocol. It's going to be longer, obviously. You're going to stay in that phase if you do have symptoms until they're better and they don't exacerbate. So due to that, I'm going to go on to what we've decided that our return to play will look like. So day 1 is we're going to keep the heart rate under 70%. And no more than 15 minutes, we're going to do a steady state aerobic activity. So it could be light walking on the treadmill. Normally, it's just a watt bike, just something that they can kind of sit. We're going to have a heart rate monitor on them to make sure that they're not going above that 70%, and it's going to be completely monitored. They do good with that. They have no exacerbations during or after, and they come in day 2. They're like, yep, I felt good, no issues. We can bump them up to 80% of the heart rate. And we can also go up to about 30 minutes at this time. So we're seeing kind of that low to medium level aerobic intensity at that time. If they feel like they can good enough, we might be able to get them on the treadmill to do a 30-minute jog. If they can tolerate it, again, we can do some static technical training. So maybe just going and just hitting some bads for 15 minutes. Day 3, we're going to up it a little bit more. So they did good with kind of their cardio so far. We're good with allowing them to have no cardio limitations. So we're going to be able to bump that up to kind of a moderate activity output level, about 45 to 60 minutes of training. We can reintroduce at this time some more tactical training. Want to keep it still to about 30 minutes at about 70% level. And as long as they do good with that, no exacerbations, day 4, they can have a full return to activity and resume normal training. So back on our kind of post-fight now. So she fought, she lost. It's now coming into end of November, December. She had a medical follow-up for her post-fight exam with our medical staff. They re-MRI'd the right shoulder and kind of still the same findings, a bunch of labral findings, mild tear in infraspinatus, lots of tendonitis, and supraspinatus, teres minor, subscap, biceps tendon. So we decided to go ahead and go on with the consult of an orthopedic surgeon. They obviously recommended that she go ahead and get surgery, but we wanted to discuss all of the options first with not only us, the athlete, her manager, her team and training partners, and the medical staff of the UFC. After we kind of all met, we decided that we would go ahead and the next step will be a surgical intervention.
All right. Great information from Dr. Tera Giroux over at UFC. You want to talk about taking care of some banged up people? She sees them each and every week. And depending upon when you're watching this episode of the Smart Chiropractor Show, I believe she's in Singapore right now, taking care of some athletes before their event this coming weekend. Jason, what are your thoughts?
I mean, what a job to take on. I mean, you're dealing with people that are just getting busted up week after week after week after week, and their lives and livelihood depend on their ability to count on their team to keep them tuned up and tuned in. So good for her. I appreciate the ability to go from most of us as chiropractors think very independently. I'm the chiropractor. You come to my office. I think differently than everybody else. I'm going to provide the service that I think is best for you. And in more often than not, it's different advice, different care than they would get anywhere else. When it comes to working in these types of environments, you have to make that mental adjustment to really be part of a team. The ability to read MRIs, the ability to know when there is a need for medical care versus conservative care, et cetera. So good for her. She's passionate. She's knowledgeable. She's putting her skills to work in an area that, I love when chiropractors break out of our four walls in our own office and step into other environments, whether we talked with the chiropractors who are part of the NFL or many others, they're breaking out of their bubbles and working in the real world with other types of doctors, with other opinions, and really develop the ability to work as a team and not just go, well, if you're not going to do it my way, then I'm not going to participate. So there's a very special skill in all of that I deeply admire, and good for her. I just think it's awesome to both feel her passion, but also know that, a lot of these athletes can choose all kinds of doctors. To have a chiropractor on her team and specifically to have her there is just a tremendous testament to her skills, her talent, her persistence, and her ability to really connect with others and provide value. Bravo.
Well said. Yeah, a lot of those athletes, I did not know this, but it makes sense, are independent contractors within these organizations. So getting well and staying well, if you're not out there under the lights, you ain't getting paid. So it is a lot of pressure. Kudos. And thank you so much, Tera, for coming on and sharing during Axis 2021. Stay tuned for those details on Axis 2022 coming up soon. Let's over to our Research That Matters segment on today's Smart Chiropractor Show. Research That Matters on today's Smart Chiropractor Show. We discuss our Smart Chiropractic monthly campaigns, weekly topics, daily posts. We arrange that in an annual calendar so our doctors can teach and invite consistently. Why? Because that's how you get new patients, that's how you improve your retention, and that is certainly how you begin to build that flywheel of reactivation. If you're not out there producing content in any form, meaning you could write something, you could shoot a video, you could have a blog up on your website, a post on social media, we take care of all that and more, but you need to be present. You need to communicate to your community, build that health tribe. That is ultimately how you grow a successful practice. Research That Matters. We're talking about our monthly campaign. We just switched over. So this month we are talking all about sciatica. Our docs are talking sciatica. And the weekly topic, drumroll, what is sciatica? Great place to start. There is not a single person out there, in my opinion, that's not in the healthcare field, and many that are super confused about actually what sciatica is. And if you want to talk about search terms and SEO and keywords, what is sciatica is a great place to start. It is being searched thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times each and every day, probably a few dozen times in your community each and every day. Are you showing up as the answer? We want to empower all of our Smart Chiropractor members to be that answer in their community. So what are we talking about? What are they talking about with this monthly campaign of Sciatica? Weekly topic of what is sciatica. It is showcasing what sciatica is and how, in teasing how we can help, because we're going to get into that more and more as the month goes on. So many people use the term sciatica interchangeably. They're not sure what it is. Is it a disc issue? Is it a nerve issue? Is it just low back? Is it in my tailbone? People have no idea in your community. You do, but they don't. That is a teaching opportunity. That's your opportunity to teach and invite. That's why we built the weekly topic around what is sciatica, showcasing that it essentially, as we as doctors would say, in medical terms, that it is lumbar radiculopathy at the L5-S1 level. Now, how do you describe that to a patient? You describe it through the aspects of what they know, meaning when the spine is not moving correctly or when there's a disc issue. There's three things that can pinch a nerve: disc, bone, and ligament. That nerve starts to get irritated or compressed. That person is going to experience symptoms, and it is, technical definition, the lower low back, L5-S1, where sciatica truly occurs. There's no such thing as sciatica at L2, L3, 3, 4, or 4, 5. It can only occur by definition at 5-1. However, many people use those terms interchangeably. So we take that sort of medical information, package it into consumer speak for our doctors each and every week, each and every month, each and every year. Sciatica is one of those topics that people are searching for. It is a topic that if you are not leading the conversation, I've said this before, I'll say it again, where are they getting the information? Because many people out there do believe that if sciatica comes, the answers are shots or surgery. That is what people believe. And if you don't believe that, drive down the street and see what the parking lots look like at the pain management doctor and at the surgical and orthopedic facilities. If those parking lots are more full than your parking lot, you have a communication issue. So we can help with that, but you got to take this seriously. Teaching and inviting is the only way that you can really generate curiosity for who you are and what you do, showcase the truth of what it is, and ultimately help people live better lives. Jason?
You know, you touched on it, and I want to make sure everybody's really hearing it. You know, beyond this month's campaign, this week's topic is the idea of you being a doctor. Doctor means teacher, and the goal is to teach and invite consistently. Now, the point I want to really just drill in, we've mentioned this in the Payday Practice book. If you haven't read it, make sure you get it and read it. One of the areas that we talk about and highlight is how to think like a chiropractor content creator. And one of the challenges that many chiropractors have is they don't know how to think about this. Some of our clients go, well, I'm paying you to post for me. So doesn't that handle it? And the answer is, yeah, sort of. And then there's others that go, well, I don't need to hire you. I make videos and I write blogs and I do things on my own. Yeah, but I'll bet you it's not as research-based, beautifully designed, and as consistent as what we do. So what we teach in the Payday Practice book is a concept that you're already very familiar with. And what I'm going to ask you to think about is how your local television stations think about broadcasting programming to their audience. Now, your local TV station has one simple goal in mind, and that's to get as many viewers as they possibly can. That's how they create value and therefore charge advertisers to have access to as large of an audience as they possibly can build. How do they build that audience? They build it with a hybrid philosophy. What I mean by that is this. You will see if you look at any TV guide, programming guide, if you look at any station, you'll notice that there is a combination of nationally syndicated content. What I'm talking about here is this. If you think about CBS, NBC, ABC, your local Fox affiliates, the major networks, right? Networks, they will create high quality content that goes to all the stations nationwide in the network. However, what you'll also notice is that after the nationally syndicated programs, there are always local programs. Usually it's local news, sports, weather, or other local topics. And the reason is that's the 1-2 punch to building and growing your largest audience possible. By having high quality, done for you, nationally syndicated program that no local market would likely invest the time, energy, and skills to create, because it's just not really feasible on a local market level, but it is nationally. The combination of nationally syndicated content with the specialized local relevant content is the way you want to think about creating content for you. So I say that because as we talk about research that matters, this is the nationally syndicated stuff. This is the what's done for you stuff. This is the way to make you becoming a chiropractor content creator easy, because we've created the curriculum. We've gone through and done the research. We've created the doctor's talking points. We've even wrote the scripts for you. Your newsletters are done for you. Your social posts are done for you. Your email newsletters go out weekly for you. You've got video streaming coming to your office on the screens for you so that you can show up and simply be the star of your show, because so much of the work has been done for you. That is the way to think about really being, I'll say, a successful chiropractor in today's age and the future. And so if you've been wondering, well, I'm good, I'll create my own, or nah, thanks, you're doing it all for me, our highest recommendation is this hybrid approach. Let us do the hard day-to-day consistency work for you. Let us do the research. Let us write the scripts. Let us create your emails. Let us create your social posts so that it is super easy for you to teach the topics we're teaching. In this case, what is sciatica? We know you've got experience. We know you know how to teach it. But a lot of you, in fact, most of you, I'll dare say almost all of you, are stuck in paralysis by analysis because it just takes taking action. What should I talk about? How do I make sure I've got the research? How do I make it look professional? And how am I able to create a system that allows me to do it consistently? So, Jeff, great job on, again, I'll call it our annual calendar, monthly campaigns, weekly topics, daily posts. That's the formula. Let us help you do it. Of course, this segment is sponsored by the Smart Chiropractor, a done-for-you automated content marketing system. That's not a paid discount advertising program. It is the type of marketing that elevates you in your community so that you look like a local health celebrity, local health influencer, a doctor who is passionate enough to want to share their knowledge with their community because it's the right thing to do. Jeff?
Absolutely. You can check it all out at thesmartchiropractor.com. Again, that is thesmartchiropractor.com. And let's take a moment and let's see this in action. Let's head over to our member highlights segment, and we can see exactly what we're discussing. A fantastic doc in South Florida, teaching and inviting consistently. All right, member highlights on today's Smart Chiropractor show. This is when we take a moment and highlight one of our Smart Chiropractor members that is doing a fantastic job teaching and inviting consistently. And I'm going to share screen right now. We can head over to Dr. Aixa Goodrich. We have known her for quite a few years, longtime Smart Chiropractor member, doing many of the things that we discuss and building an awesome following in the process. This is our Instagram page right here, South Florida Chiropractic. If you want to look her up, connect on Instagram, you can do so. You can see a couple things right here. Number one is she has well over 6,000 followers, which is fantastic. And she has a lot of posts, 3,800 posts. Let's take a look down and into her feed, because you're going to notice a couple things. And many of this is what we just described a few moments ago. You're going to see Smart Chiropractor content. What I'm going to say is filling in some of those holes between some of her personalized content. Right in the middle there, you can see she held an event with her face and a face of a colleague there with Rose Metcalf, it looks like. So she posted that herself, and it is sitting in between some of our Smart Chiropractor posts, which we post for her. She's got a Memorial Day post up there, her picture of her partner up there, some adjusting videos as we go down, some in-office videos, and all of this is intertwined with Smart Chiropractor content. This gives her the benefits of having abject consistency. the most critical factor to success, while also allowing her the flexibility to put up her own posts. When she's inspired, when she's ready to go, she can do it. But if you took away all of the posts from the Smart Chiropractor, we would see huge gaps of time. And this enables her, the Smart Chiropractor, and our posting, our content, enables her to stay super, super consistent, enables her then to lean in when she's feeling creative and passionate, but she knows that behind the scenes, 24/7, 365, she has her social platforms covered. She's consistently putting out great content, and she also gets great engagement. So we can scroll across here, and sometimes we get that question, if this post is going out for me and another chiropractor, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is good stuff, because that means more of the messaging is getting out there, and you can see whether it is her own posts, whether it is the post that we're creating for her, there is engagement on nearly every single one of her posts, and that speaks to the consistency that she has brought to the table day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. So Dr. Goodrich, haven't talked to you in a while, but fantastic job staying consistent, and we are super happy and proud to be one of your partners helping along the way. Jason, what are your thoughts?
I love the hybrid approach. I love when doctors understand the value of consistency. It's the hardest part of the equation. Listen, doctors are smart chiropractors. You know what to teach if you only knew what to teach today and tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. So she's phenomenal. I know we met her actually many years ago when we were first sort of getting off the ground. She saw the concept immediately, said that would be really helpful for me. I love to teach, but I don't like doing all the other stuff, the research, the design, the copywriting, the scripting, all the stuff that goes along with it. Why don't we work together as a team? I kind of like to think about this as, there's no rock stars today that do all the behind the scenes work for themselves. They've gotten to a place where they come out and they perform their part, but they've got a whole team of people behind them that are just getting all the gear ready, getting all the facilities ready, getting all the instruments ready, the merchandise, all the lights, the engineering, the seats. There's a whole team involved. And for chiropractors to think, I'll go it alone. I'll figure this thing out all by myself would be like Bono going, listen, why don't we go light up a stadium, but I'm good. I'll take care of it all. It's ridiculous. So be the rock star of your practice and let us be your groupies. Let us be those that are there with you behind the scenes, that enable you to be the rock star, that enable you to really be that front and center teacher. When you look online, when you start learning about these influencers, right, these flukes of people that somehow amass thousands, some cases millions of followers, very few of them do it by themselves without any help. Most of them have some sort of behind the scenes secret weapon, AKA team, helping them out in some particular way. So great job to her. Action, as you always say, Jeff, results follow action. No action, no results. I'll say no positive results. You'll get negative results. Those are results, I guess. But if you want good things to happen, you've got to invest proactively in teaching and inviting consistently. I hope you're getting tired of us saying that over and over and over again. That means you're listening and paying attention. We don't get tired of it because we want to make sure we all keep our eye on the ball. It's easy to get distracted about all the things in practice, but if you want to stay on the simple, straight, and narrow, the more people you teach, the more people can learn from you, the more you can earn from them. It's how simple it is. Keep on generously sharing your knowledge, your passion for wanting people to live a greater quality of life. And that energy spreads, especially in the insane darkness and insanity that is going on in this world right now. We need more sanity, speaking up and speaking power to truth. Hopefully you'll be one of those people that shares what you know with the people who don't know, so we can elevate our profession and build your practice all at the same time. So great job.
I could not agree more. Great job, Dr. Goodrich. Keep up the awesome work. I know you're helping a lot of people down in South Florida. And speaking of helping people, we have a featured guest interview with a doc who has been making a tremendous impact on Instagram and beyond. and we had a fantastic chat with her. So let's head over to our featured guest segment. Hello and welcome to the featured guest segment on today's Smart Chiropractor show, how to elegantly build an Instagram following with Dr. Kristen Hammer. If you have not seen Kristen's Instagram page, I'm going to encourage you to check it out. We'll drop those links all over the place as well. She's been doing a great job teaching and inviting consistently on Instagram, and let's just lay it out. Last year, TikTok, juicing the algorithm, lots of view count, lots of followers. However, historically very little action or conversion to real patients in the practice. Instagram has the benefit of being a Facebook-owned or Meta-owned property, which gives far better targeting, I'm going to say better reach, true reach, and much more historic engagement. So we have seen chiropractors around the world blow up their Instagram followings to the tune of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and yes, for some of them, millions of individuals following them. That is incredibly powerful. That is what can create a fantastic practice, and that is a platform that is awesome and yields a tremendous amount of opportunity for us as chiropractors to get our messaging out there. Kristen is one of those docs that is showing up each and every day. Jason and I had the opportunity to sit down, chat with her, understand how she approaches Instagram, and I can guarantee you're going to find some tips for your own channel and your own page on today's interview. So without further ado, here's our interview with Dr. Kristen Hammer. Hey docs, welcome to the Smart Chiropractor show and our featured guest segment. I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid here with my co-host, Dr. Jason Deitch. And today we have Dr. Kristen Hammer. She is somebody that Jason and I came upon that is one of the best examples we've seen of somebody teaching and inviting consistently across social. Kristen, thanks for taking some time and chatting with us today.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
Right on. And I'm going to get right to it. You do a fantastic job of doing what we call teach and invite consistently on specifically your Instagram channel, page, profile. How did you get started? What stimulated the thought that that's a place you should be posting content? Let's trace it back to when you first picked it up and made that first post or that first story.
Yeah, so I actually found a podcast somewhere. I can't even remember what it was, but it kind of just gave me insight on how leveraging your social media could help you in practice and could help you gain new patients with gaining a social media following. So I just dove into it. I actually just started it in January on my own page. So I've only been doing it for about a year, but I'd like to think that I got the hang of it now. And I really love it. It's really fun.
That is awesome. You've got thousands of followers. We'll put your links in the show notes so people can follow you as well. But for this conversation, I'd like them to follow your lead, not just follow your profile. Tell us about your journey. I mean, a lot of chiropractors are intimidated by this. They think, I'm late to the party, and there's already people that have thousands of followers, millions of views, gazillions of likes. There's no room for me anymore. And yet, you said you started a year ago. You've already got several thousand. What was your mindset, and what was the journey like? I know everybody likes immediate gratification. I'm assuming day 2 or 3, you didn't have thousands of followers. Help people understand the reality of the journey and why it's worth it.
Right. Yeah. So obviously when you start your page, you start from scratch. And so that's a little scary because you're like, who's going to want to listen to me? I'm a chiropractor. I'm not doing beauty tips. I'm not sharing some really awesome, mom videos, which are hilarious and can gain bazillion followers overnight. Chiropractic's definitely a harder niche to get your following because, a lot of people don't care about chiropractic, to be honest. And so you have to get them to care about it. And you can do that by giving them value that can help their life. You can do that by entertaining them, by sharing of yourself and being open and vulnerable about who you are. Because what I've found over this journey in the last year is that people want to go to somebody that they know and they like and they trust. And there's no, in my opinion, better way to do that than on Instagram, because you really get to show your followers who you are. And at the same time, you get to sneak in there all this chiropractic knowledge that they don't know they're about to get, because they just think like, I like that person, I want to follow her, she's local, because that's really your goal, is to find local people. It's not about getting 1 million followers, because those followers mean nothing if they're not coming into your practice. So you just, basically my journey has been figuring out how to go about getting a following that is local, that knows, likes, and trusts me, and eventually wants to come and see me.
I think that is a fantastic way to go about it. We talk about, I mentioned it a few moments ago, teach and invite consistently. That's sort of the framework that we do with the Smart Chiropractor, and many of our members receive monthly campaigns, weekly topics, and daily posts. How do you think about content? You do a great job, as you said, educating, engaging, entertaining at times. How do you think about content production? Do you think in terms of percentages, in terms of days of the week? How do you plan out what you're going to do?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways to do Instagram. And one is like your type A, plan everything out. There's like Instagram calendars out there where you can literally plan content for months in advance. And then if you're like me, I'm a business owner. They say what most business owners are like C students. And so, I was like a B, but I am not a plan ahead person. So that just doesn't work for me at all. I am a creative kind of entrepreneur mindset. So for me, I see information, I see something, an audio, a video, a post that I think would be valuable, or I think of something that would be valuable. I jot it down in a little notebook in my phone, and then I come back to it later, and then I use it as I go. For me, I plan content out. I wouldn't even say I like plan it. I more like grab ideas and do it. Like I'm just a doer. Like, but you can totally plan it if that is your personality, and that's great. I wish I was that way, but I'm just not. So for me, I would hate doing it if I had to plan it and like brainstorm and do all this stuff. So for me, it's on the spot. I use my creativity when it comes to me. So hopefully that answered the question. Yeah. Sometimes I go on tangents.
No, absolutely. And it looks like you're having fun. And I think that's kind of part of it. I got a lot of questions about how, but before we get into more details about how you're coming up with content and so on, let's sort of cut to the chase. I think most listeners are probably thinking to themselves, which is, okay, you go through all this stuff, whether it's planning or it's spontaneous, and is it worth it? I mean, what kind of feedback do you get? New patients, which I think is what every chiropractor wants to know. Does it work? Is it worth your time? What would you say to chiropractors about that? I can only imagine you don't keep doing it if it doesn't.
Right. I probably would, because I do love doing it, but that's just my personality. Not everybody's going to have my personality. But absolutely, it's been amazing for my practice. It's the best thing I have ever done, and kind of the easiest, because again, this type of thing comes easy to me. It doesn't come easy to everyone, I don't think. But so it might not be the easiest for everyone, but it's really fun to do. And okay, go back to that question. What was the actual question? Here I go again.
Well, I think a lot of chiropractors are wondering, am I going to get more new patients if I do this? And if I expand a little more, just to get into, deeper into it. And this is sort of to follow up on Jeff's question too, as it relates to content. You discuss sort of, I'm spontaneous versus a planner, but also, as I look, help people understand, obviously these are a lot of pictures of yourself. And some chiropractors would either say, well, I'm not that good looking, or I'm too shy, I'm introverted, or why is a picture of me going to teach someone else about chiropractic? So I think we know that there's a relationship building process. You don't have to start with, hi, I'm a chiropractor, you want to buy chiropractic care. You can start with, hey, nice to meet you, it's a great day, and sort of invite them in to want to learn more. So, would you share kind of how you think about what type of content you produce? And, every day is not Buy Chiropractic Day.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I'll say is you want to find your niche. And so there's chiropractors out there that are totally neurological based and focus on the brain. And so they post a lot of content about that. For me, I try to meet my patients where they are. Even though I'm more of a principled chiropractor, I focus a lot on my page about what patients think chiropractic is. And that is like the back pain, the neck pain, things like that. So I will focus in on what they want to hear about or what they'll accept the most. And that's just my philosophy on doing it. Everybody can do what they want. But that's where I focus in, is meeting the patient where they're at. And then I sneakily kind of throw some philosophy in there sometimes and like woe them with like, oh, chiropractic is more than just back pain. And that's what's kind of nice about Instagram, is you can gain a following, and then once they trust you and they know you, then you can expand and teach them more as you go. But you always want to return back to the base of what your focus of your page is, because you're always going to be getting new followers. And so it is a lot of repeat content, because you want to make sure that your main message is still in the forefront of your page.
Revisiting those greatest hits is a great tactical tip. You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel consistently. You know, if somebody resonates today, they might resonate with it again next month, next year, and utilizing those high value content pieces can be incredibly impactful. Consistency is one of the keys to success. You show that through your page. There's no question about that. How do you stay consistent? What's sort of your mindset? You seem like a very positive person. How do you get out of being concerned with the haters and, growth metrics? And how do you stay positive and consistent with it day in and day out? Do you have any mindset practices each and every day, or is it just a natural disposition?
It's definitely a natural disposition for me. I mean, in college, I bartended through school, and I had people call me Dr. Smiley. So, I mean, like, for me, that's just who I am. But you don't need to be me on Instagram. You need to be yourself. And if you try to be someone else, it's going to come off as inauthentic. So, of course, for me, I have to be my authentic self, and that is Dr. Smiley. It is a positive person, regardless of what's going in my life. I stay positive. But yeah, the key is just to be yourself. I know other you kind of get your little packet of chiropractors that are on Instagram that become friends, and they're from all over the world, and it's really cool. But there's some that I follow that I love, and some really take, a humorous approach to their videos, and I love their videos. They're so funny. Some really focus in on their stretches and exercises. I find those really valuable. And so you can do what you're the best at. Yeah. And that's what's great about chiropractic. It's showcase who you are. There's some personalities that are shy and reserved and not super smiley on Instagram, but they have great value. And people, I think, love those people just as much, as long as they are interacting with their audience and their audience is able to connect with them.
That is awesome. Now, what I know is that in addition to building your patient client base, members, whatever you refer to them as, you're also getting more and more chiropractors saying, hey, how do I do what you do? And you're going to start mentoring other chiropractors to do what you do. Let me ask you, let's get the cat out of the bag. What would be maybe some of the first tips if somebody is thinking about doing this? Would you recommend that they do it? And if so, what would you recommend that they do to sort of get going, get started and then start building?
Yeah. So the first advice I would give would be to create your own page, not your clinic's page. So I have both, but again, people want to go to someone they know, and your clinic's page is to focus on chiropractic and what's going on in your practice. My page is Dr. Kristen Hammer on Instagram, and it's Dr. Kristen Hammer. And so that would be my first piece of advice, would be to create a doctor page that is you, and separate from your clinic's page, so that they can know you. Of course, you're going to want to link your clinic in your page so that when your followers do eventually want to come see you, they can easily find you. So you can link your website still. You can still link your other page in your Instagram for yourself. So I think that's step one, is get started and create a page that is you, the doctor.
That's a great tactical tip. How do you think about stories versus posts? Do you segment them based upon content type? Do you drive one to the other? Stories versus posts? Have at it. What are your thoughts?
I love both. For me, and again, I think you can choose what you want to do with your page. For me, I focus my posts all about chiropractic for the most part. Once in a while, I will throw in an interest post. Like my followers know I love coffee. So once in a while, I'll throw something about like coffee in there, or my kids, as I have 2 little kids. So once in a while, I'll do a post with my kids. So I think that's what my posts are about, but mostly chiropractic. All the reels I do and things like that are always about chiropractic. Again, once in a while, I might do something about being a small business owner. I think people can relate to wanting to support small businesses. So that's always something you can leverage, is being a small business owner. And then my stories, I mean, everybody's look a little different. So again, you don't have to do what I do because I'm probably a little different than a lot of people on their stories, in that I think I'm like probably too open with my life on my stories. I probably post too much, but that's just me. And one piece of advice that I have for your stories is to post what you would be comfortable sharing with a stranger on an airplane. So for me, I'm Dr. Smiley. I'm super open. I'll tell you anything about my life. And so for me, I'm a little more open on my stories. Other chiropractors I know that have great followings strictly post about health, wellness, chiropractic. For me, my stories, I post what I'm doing, and I'll post about my kids, and I'll post about the self-care I did that day. And I'll even post, like, if I go out to the bar, I'll post some pictures with friends. And I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, that's why I really liked you, because you have the same interests I do. You are like me. I really like the person you are. And so I think that's kind of the key. Because again, just being yourself. If that's who you are, if you like to have a drink on the weekends with friends and you're comfortable sharing that with a person on an airplane, then share it, So I think you just, there's a little professional boundary that you want to keep there. But again, this is your page. This is not my clinic's page. So that's, I think, what people like about this page. I don't think that my followers think I'm necessarily promoting my business. I think they think that I am Dr. Kristen and I'm sharing my life and I'm sharing some tips along the way. And I think that is really important and key to actually getting people to want to come in, is you should use this page not very salesy like you maybe would with a Facebook ad. I rarely ever place a call to action on this page, because I feel like when I would do that, if I do something like that, I'm going to lose some people's trust, because then I'm going to give them a red flag that I am doing this for their business instead of being their friend and somebody they want to, know. But that, again, is my philosophy on it. There's other chiropractors that certainly have different philosophies. And I know a lot of chiropractors will just post about health and wellness, and, they'll post like what smoothie they drank in the morning, and then they'll post themselves at the office, and this is in their stories. But of course, if you have no idea what we're talking about with stories and reels and all that stuff on Instagram, I'm here to help. So I can help through that. That's why I'm going to start mentoring. But it's not hard. We all can figure it out.
One of my favorite books is by Seth Godin, and it's called This is Marketing. And one of the most popular lines throughout the book is, people like us do things like this. And that sounds like exactly what you're doing. Is this is who I am. And if you're like me, these are the things that we do, whether it's going to the bar or getting adjusted or exercising or smiling with your kids or whatever it may be. So brilliant job. And you're not the only one thinking that way. For those that aren't as naturally inclined as you are, if somebody were to say, this is the irony, like people who say, well, I don't want to start going to a chiropractor because once you start, you got to keep on going. The same principle sort of applies here. Like, wow, I'm just afraid this is going to take over my entire life. Like, I don't want to have to post, what I had for breakfast, what I had for lunch, what I had for dinner. Does it have to take over your entire life? Do you have to have a phone in your hand all the time? Or, is there a way to sort of segment it so that you can be efficient in what you're wanting to accomplish without it basically seeping into every moment of every day?
Yeah, absolutely not. Not everybody has to be like me. But I do it because that's the person I am. For example, when I was in high school, I had a 300-page photo album for every year of high school. So I just love photos. I love taking pictures. That's just who I am. But absolutely not. Again, there's a lot of chiropractors that don't post as often. But I do think you want to be consistent. So that's the key. If you want people to start following you, you have to be consistent. So what that means, and what I would suggest is 10 minutes a day to work on your following and work on your page, at least to start. I mean, I definitely don't have to do it as much anymore. Yeah. And stories, I mean, it's a lot easier than you think. You pull out your phone and you snap a picture of what you're doing. It's not as hard as you think. It takes 2 seconds to post it and you're done.
Yeah, consistency is the key to success. We talk about that consistently across this show and across the Smart Chiropractor. Kristen, you're a fantastic example of using the platform for good, using the platform for the benefit of your practice, but an indirect benefit. The primary benefit is the education value, entertainment that you deliver to your followers, and you do it consistently. So absolutely fantastic. Give a shout out, docs out there. Where can they connect with you? Where can they follow?
Yeah, so the Instagram name is Dr. Kristen Hammer, really easy. So Kristin, and then hammer like the tool.
Easy enough. Kristen, you've been fantastic. Thanks for taking some time out of your day and coming on with chatting with us. We're going to encourage everybody listening and watching, head over, follow along, and we'll be seeing you very soon. Have a great day, Kristen.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. That was our interview with Dr. Kristen Hammer. Check her out on Instagram. Great example of somebody who shows up each and every day, teaches and invites consistently. And if you have been thinking about getting started on social, the time was last year, the time was yesterday, the time is today. Don't put it off any longer. It is pretty much, in my opinion, unless you are sailing into the sunset of your practice, it's a necessity. And if you are looking at what docs are doing and you're thinking, get off my lawn, show your own lawn. Get out there and create your own content. Let's see what you have to do. It is a very, there's a lot of meritocracy out there. So get out there. If you are producing content that people are engaged with and like consuming, you're going to see the growth. Doesn't happen overnight. Doesn't happen with one post. That's what we're trying to showcase by highlighting some of the docs at varying stages. Kristen is multi-thousand follower, but she's not 10,000, 25,000 yet, but she will be, because she's doing all of the things to get there. We're going to have other guests coming up on subsequent interviews that have hundreds of thousands and millions, yes, I said millions, of followers across their social channels. So a lot to learn from, a lot to just explore in terms of how are somebody who is a content creator thinking about it. Jason and I have been content creators so long. TikTok and Instagram didn't even exist back when we started. But there are docs doing fantastic things today. I love chatting with them. I know you're having a good time with it as well, Jason.
I think it's phenomenal. I have 2 comments on it. One is, Kristen plays to her strengths. She knows her strengths. She's, knows what she likes to do, knows what she's good at, and she does it. That is the name of the game. Not every chiropractor has to follow the formula beyond the formula being express yourself, express your uniqueness. If you're photogenic, if you have a specific skill set or talent or thing you like to talk about. You do you. That's the point. The second point I want to make is, you touched on this, Jeff, and it's almost, maybe every, but I'll just pre-qualify by saying almost every chiropractor I speak to has the common feeling that it's the vocal few that tend to make the most noise and therefore direct people's perception about what chiropractic is and what it isn't. And Jeff used the term meritocracy. What that really means is, wait a minute, we have just as much opportunity to be the vocal few and direct the conversation. And if we're not, and not enough of us are, then it's really difficult to be upset that a few people do take action and share their feelings, even though they may be different than your feelings. So that's the goal. That's the key. Let's think bigger than just our survival and immediate needs. I need more new patients now. Oh, wait, that's not going to get me new patients now. I can't focus on it because I'm so desperate to need new patients now. Well, that will put us in, guess what? The situation we're in right now, which is people are very confused about what chiropractic is, probably don't really know what you do in your practice. I bet you a lot of people in your practice don't really know what you really do in your practice. So you're on the treadmill of always needing more new patients. What does that mean? That means proliferating the insanity that the only people you're speaking to are those people in pain, ready to say yes now, sometimes with third-party reimbursement, because that's the fastest way to immediate gratification. And I'm not sure anything long-term benefits by focusing on immediate gratification only. Not to say there's not a reality to it, of course there is. But unless you think long-term, unless you take these ideas and implement them with a long-term consciousness, we will be stuck in the same insane merry-go-round that this profession has been on, maybe your practice has been on. When people come in exclusively in pain, looking for pain relief, one of two things happen. They get better and leave, they don't get better and leave, leaving you the pain of constantly needing more new patients. We think that's crazy, so think about another way. I think what she's doing is phenomenal. Not everybody has to look at it and go, well, that's the way I would do it. No problem. That's not the way you have to do it. You have to do it your way, just like she's doing it her way. So great job, great focus, terrific interview.
I couldn't agree more. If you haven't checked out all of our interviews, head over to YouTube. We have this playlist set up with all of our interviews stacked, and be on the lookout for Interviews by the Smart Chiropractor, our podcast featuring and focusing on each and every interview we have on this show each and every week. Let's head over to strategic marketing on today's Smart Chiropractor show. Strategic marketing on the Smart Chiropractor show. We're going to talk about 2 steps to improve your chiropractic website traffic. Traffic, everybody wants it and nobody knows how to get it. But there are some simple things that you can do and implement today to improve the traffic flow to your website. The more people that go to your website, every person is an opportunity for you to showcase who you are, what you do, to entice them to give a call in a great way. Meaning if they ended up on your website, you've heard me say it before, I'll say it again, nobody visits chiropractic websites for fun except for us when we're trying to feature our member highlights each and every week. So if somebody made it to your website, they're just interested in your service. The question is, have you compelled them enough? Do you seem like a good match for them? Have you focused on the benefits you can provide them enough for them to take action, to subscribe to your email list, to pick up the phone and call, whatever that call to action is? So traffic is critical. And I am a huge fan of organic traffic. It is where I've spent probably a decade, deep, head down, all the geeky stuff. Keywords, meta descriptions. We're going to wipe that off the table and not talk about it today. It's about simple things that you can do, 2 simple things to drive more traffic to your website, because it will, just like building your following online or your social media accounts, it will translate to more people in your practice. Those 2 things: consistent content updates, posting blogs to your website and posting consistently. We deliver 4 blogs to all of our Smart Chiropractors each and every month. Why? Because they're weekly blogs. So each week there is a new piece of content going up. That does two separate things. When you post a blog, number one, Google gives you the thumbs up. It is going to show that you are engaging, you're adding to. And every time you add a blog, that is most of the time, it'll be health related, of course, that gives Google context about who you are and what you're about. It's scanning all of those words and they're understanding more about who you are. And that enables the opportunity for them to showcase your website to more people that are searching. So you want to give them as much information, accurate information as possible, because it helps them show you to more people. That's one reason. The other reason is user experience. When somebody visits your website, they click on the blog and the last thing you posted was 5 years ago about, Thanksgiving turkey. That sucks. Like, I wouldn't go to that chiropractor myself. So if you visit your own website, does it look great? Does you have content there when people can click around that it's fresh, it's new, it looks like you care about what's going on, because that matters. If you don't want to convert traffic off your website, you don't need to do any of this stuff. But if you're looking to drive more traffic to your website and have that traffic be more engaged, weekly blog posts are a great way to do it. That's number one. Number two is a step from that. Use your social channels to promote your website. So many of us overlook this all the time. Instagram and the stories now allow you to link without having 10,000 followers as the minimum as they had for many years. You can post on Facebook and link to that blog post. Utilize your social channels and highlight the blogs that you are posting. Drive traffic from your social channels to your website. You might have 500 or 1,000 people visiting your website each and every month if you check out your stats. You might have 5,000, you might have 8,000, you might have 10,000 or more people following you on social media. Let people know that you have a website with great information. People like to consume content in different ways. So there are many people following you across your social channels that would be happy to read what you have to say, check out a video on your website, opt into your email, whatever it might be. Help drive more traffic by posting blogs and then posting those blogs across to your social channels. Those are my two tips for today, Jason. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. Normally, when I hear traffic, I want to get as far away from it as possible, but not in this case. Traffic is a good thing. Traffic means more visitors to your website, which means more people getting exposed to you and your message. I will throw in the bonus for those of you that haven't connected the dots here. What Jeff just said was 100% true. The question that I'll ask you is, let's say you do have, 1,000 people or so. Call it 500, even call it 100. I don't care. Pick a number, any number. Whatever the number of visitors you have coming to your website, the question is, did all the visitors come into your office? And if they didn't, which most likely is the case, if you had 100 visitors to your website or 1,000 visitors to your website, did you get 100 new patients or 1,000 new patients this month? Mostly not, most likely not. So the question is, what do you do with those people? Where do those people go? They weren't cruising for fun. They were looking for you, but you didn't have enough information that was compelling for them to go call, click, and come in today. By using one of our opt-in boxes that you would have if you were part of our Smart Chiropractor program, those people before they leave could get one of those opportunities to sign up to be on your email list so you can teach and invite them over time. Not every person who's looking for a chiropractor needs to go this moment. If they've been to your website, didn't take action, then wouldn't it be great if you had the opportunity to keep on staying in touch with them and teaching them over time, to stay in their face in a positive way, not negative way, in a positive way, by sharing your information. Well, you go opt-in box. That sounds like a lot of work. No, it's not if you know what you're doing. And then what am I going to follow up with? That sounds like a lot of work. No, it's not if you know what you're doing. And that's exactly the point, is to keep on learning how these tools work. There was a time not so long ago, and for some of you still exists today, where you go, why do I need a website? What am I going to use that for? It's like asking, why do I need a phone number? Why do I need a Facebook page? There are certain things that are requirements, expectations in today's day and age. All the tools we're talking about are not extras. They're not bonuses. They're not would-be nice to haves. They are essentials for your communication, for people to get in touch with you and learn about you in today's day and age. So 2 great recommendations. We threw in a third one there for you. Make sure you write them down. If there was something we missed on this that you want to add, That's what the comments are for down below. We want you to learn with us, connect with us. Do you have a favorite website technique or something we haven't mentioned that you think would be important for more chiropractors to understand about their websites? Let us know. Leave it in the comments below. No spam, please. Don't be promoting yourself. You can earn your own audience and your own traffic. But if you've got something valuable for our people, bring it on. We'd love to see it. Great topic, Jeff.
Thank you very much. Let's head over to our final segment on today's Smart Chiropractor Show. Smart Chiropractor Show. It is business principles time. This is our final segment on today's Smart Chiropractor Show. And the question, Jason, is why every chiropractor, maybe this isn't a question, it's a statement, why every chiropractor should have a continuity program in their practice. I don't know if it's a question or a statement. You can decide whether you want me to have a period or a question mark at the end. But ultimately, I'll ask you the question. Why are continuity programs important, and why should every chiropractor, regardless of how they practice, I'll say it time and time again, be considering continuity in their practice?
Well, let's first define what it means to have a continuity program. And, basically continuity means that the relationship continues, that they don't just come in for a few visits to see how it feels and then decide if they ever want to see you again or not. But you actually have I'll call it doctor-patient, chiropractor person, however you want to language it appropriately. But you've got a relationship, a connection. This is not a commodity. What I mean by that is typically if you've got to get gas for your car, you're looking around for the closest, cheapest option. There's not many people that search for the best gas in town. It's a commodity. You get it at the most convenient place at the best price. Healthcare services should not fall under that category. When it comes to professional services, specifically healthcare services, people do not look for the closest, cheapest option in most cases. When most people, when it comes to healthcare, are looking for the best healthcare they can find and afford. Well, how do people know what that is? That means you are teaching and sharing something with them on a regular basis. And I can tell you 100% of the time, as Jeff and I have been interviewing now influencers on social media around the world, everything from a few hundred to a few million followers. And every single one of them, we ask this question every time we interview them. 100% of the time, they say that there is a big difference between the people that come to see them because they're following them on social or email, and those people that have found them from some sort of traditional advertisement or deep discount or spinal screening or something that does not give them the opportunity to understand why they would want to have a relationship with you. So that's the context of having a continuity program. Many people think, I can hardly get people to sign up for a few visits of care. How can I possibly get people to sign up for long-term care? Answer, give people the ability to get to know you, learn from you, and trust you before they even make it to your office. That's the point of why we're teaching what we're teaching, is that when you follow step one, which is to build your health tribe. Your health tribe is the number of people following you on social and the number of people you have on your email list. Whether the people are signing up from your email list because you follow our tactics on put an email box on your website, or it's your actual patients and patient base from years to come from your EHR, you have a committed group of people that have said, I'm willing to accept information from you. The question is, what information are you putting out there? And are you strategically, with positive intentions, sharing the truth about why people would want to have an ongoing connection to your practice, an ongoing relationship with you? Are you explaining why it would be valuable to have long-term care, whether you're symptomatic or proactive? And if you're not teaching that, it would make 100% sense as to why any type of membership or subscription or continuity program would not work for you. But if you are following what we're talking about, if you're listening to the interviews we're sharing, the secrets of those with hundreds, thousands, and millions of followers, you'll find that when they've built an audience of people that learn to learn from them, those people actually come in ready to get started. You can even read the comments, follow some of these influencers. People in the comments from around the world go, I can't wait to see Dr. So-and-so. Wow, I wish I could have one of those adjustments. That looks really amazing. And when people have that consciousness that you are basically a celebrity doctor, maybe it's a nano celebrity, a micro celebrity. It doesn't mean a Tom Cruise celebrity. It just means that you're famous locally, you're famous with your audience. When you put in the effort, energy to build that audience, you are building demand for ongoing continuity services. So that's what that means. Now, why do you want to have it? Continuity programs means continuous income for you. And continuous income for you means that you don't have to stress out month after month after month, hoping you have enough new patients to be able to cover your expenses, let alone profit and put some money away. So building continuity programs so that you have continuous monthly recurring revenue coming in is your financial assurance policy that you consistently are able to generate income, revenue, month after month after month after month. We call it a payday practice. That means that you are transforming the first day of every month from, oh my God, I'm back to zero. I hope we can climb this hill of expenses again and get to the top, let alone profit. You are transforming that stress into payday, which is an exciting day for most people. You can turn the first day of every month from, back to zero into payday, which means you've covered enough recurring revenue each and every month to cover your monthly recurring expenses. That is known in the internet marketing world as a continuity program. You will hear us refer to it as memberships and subscriptions. It means that you've got continuous revenue coming in because you are either providing proactive services, you are providing some sort of access to you, whether it's a live event, recorded event, one-on-one digitally, group live, or some sort of digital membership that people can learn your unique special knowledge behind some sort of website that they are paying you to get access to. There's lots of ways to do it. There's no one size fits all. We're here to just give you the knowledge so that you can take the baton and run with it and reduce, eventually eliminate that monthly financial stress, because that's where freedom happens. If you knew that you were going to cover your monthly business bills month after month after month after month without needing more new patients, how would your practice be different? How would you be different? How would you communicate different? What might you do differently? How would you change your hours? How would you change who you work with and who you say, I don't want to work with those payers or that type of client any longer? It's time to take back control of your dream, to build your dream practice. The way to build your dream practice, yes, is to have a dream. But if you don't have recurring revenue coming in to support your dream, you will find, like myself and thousands of other chiropractors out there, that your business, your need for finances steals the joy and steals the direction of what you really wish you can do because you need the money. And that's just not a fun way to practice over the long term. It happens in the beginning. That's what all startups go through. But as time goes on, you should be building your audience. People should be sticking around, and you should graduate, elevate from that monthly financial stress to the point that you've got consistent, continuous monthly recurring revenue coming in each and every month. That's your goal. If you're not sure how to get there, you want to read the book, The Payday Practice. You want to watch the webinar coming up after you read the book, and you certainly probably want to attend our training where we will show you how to do it, how to think about it, how to choose the right continuity program for you, and where the tools are that you need in order to successfully create it, sell it, and launch it. So, Jeff, I don't know many chiropractors who understand the concept of continuity programs in the internet marketing world. That is the staple. It's the holy grail. It's what they all look to build and create. And the secret weapon, or the great opportunity the chiropractors have, the The leg up, the extra advantage is that chiropractors usually have an audience of people that already know, like, and trust them. If they would implement these internet digital marketing, digital communication techniques and strategies on social, on email, video streaming in their office, teaching different topics on a regular basis, and turning themselves from a desperate doctor into a positive influencer, this profession would change and your practice would grow and your financial stress would be dead. That's how it works. If you want to learn more, make sure you read The Payday Practice. Jeff, what did I leave out on that one?
Not too much. I think you did a fantastic job breaking it down and explaining what docs need to know. And my big call to action and call out at the end of today's show, which has been an awesome show, would be if you are a content creator out there, I don't care whether you've put in 2 posts up or whether you've put 2,000 posts up, if you are somebody that is willing to take action, we want to work with you. We want to help you be more successful. That is what I am exclusively and starting getting narrower and more narrow interested in doing. So if you would like all the automated services, all good. Head over to the Smart Chiropractor. If you take those automated services, you use the video scripts, or you're doing this all on your own currently, we want to engage with you, because having a payday practice is something, especially if you are building a health tribe online, and it goes beyond just the 4 walls of the practice. We are super, super interested in working with you. So please stay tuned. Please connect. Please let us know what's going on. We have our finger on the pulse of who's doing what out there and constantly looking for great examples of docs. So if you are somebody who is a content creator, we'd love to connect with you. You can shoot me a direct message, jeff@thesmartchiropractor.com. I would love to have a chat with you. Jason, it's been an awesome show. I know we're going to have a lot of fantastic shows coming up over the next few weeks as we unveil and finally let out into the world the Payday Practice. And if you are a doc who got a sneak peek at that over the past year, a few select docs, stay tuned for the real version. We've done significant edits. We've been working super hard on this for quite a few years. Writing a book ain't easy, to say the least, and we're super excited to get it out there. So I think it's been a fantastic show. I'm looking forward to next week. Jason, any closing thoughts before we wrap up today's Smart Chiropractor Show?
Great job, Jeff. Great job to all of our behind-the-scenes team that you all don't get to see, but that basically do the work for us the way they do the work for you. And we're really grateful to have all of them. Last but not least, keep your eyes and ears out for the Payday Practice. It is the effort, the passion, the blood, sweat, and tears. I think there's some blood in there that Jeff and I have been sweating over the past few years to really transform our profession. How people think about what chiropractors do, how people think about going to the chiropractor, how people pay to go to the chiropractor, how chiropractors think about being in practice, and how chiropractors can once and for all afford to tell the truth, to be able to share your truth, not just what chiropractic is, but what you do, so that you can attract your ideal client in your ideal practice. It's all in the Payday Practice. Hopefully you will take the time and invest in yourself, invest in your future, invest in financing your future by understanding the specific business tactics we are teaching. Above and beyond that, it's always a pleasure to be here with you each and every Tuesday. Hopefully you'll tune in. Leave your comments. Let us know. If you've got questions, we want to help you. If you are a content creator, leave it down below. Let us know. Who are you? What are you up to? What's great in your world that we can share with others? That's what we're all about. That's our show for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Join us next Tuesday as well.
Have a great week, docs. We will see you soon. Be sure to hit those notifications, subscribe on YouTube. We'll see you on the next Smart Chiropractor Show. Have an awesome week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching this video on the Smart Chiropractor. To not miss a single thing that's clinically oriented, marketing oriented, or more, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel today.